The following video is used as evidence for a debate against Nathan Thompson on the channel Modern Day Debates. Link in the description. Enjoy!
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE from the channel that shoves stupidity feet first into a wood chipper.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's no use.
For my evidence, I'm going to... Hold on 2 secs. Hello? Yes, NASA, I've got the script for the debate. I'm actually recording my opening argument right now. Yeah, I know, you already said that if I do well in the debate and stick to the official script, then you'll give me a massive bonus in my shield check this month. I mean, it's alright, it's only Nathan Thompson. No, I said you didn't need to do any research. What's that? You found a home video of him as a child? Oh, let's have a look.
Wanna go for a road, Daddy? Gotta get this. Oh yeah, go for a road, Daddy. Go for a road, Daddy. Baby, I dropped him again. Drop little Nathan.
Damn it, that's the 10th time this week you dropped baby Nathan on his head.
Hey, little guy. Oh shit, he's face down in lead paint. He's making a mess.
Anyway, with all the schools closing, Nathan must have loads of spare time, so I'd better go. Yes, NASA, I love you too. I'll just edit that part out. Where was I? Oh yeah. For my evidence, I'm going to show 10 things that are impossible on a flat stationary Earth, but explained perfectly on a globe that is rotating. Let me just check my script. Okay.
Number 10.
No flat earther has ever given a suitable answer for this because the stars are a major issue for flat earthers. But the biggest problem is Polaris, which can only be seen from the northern hemisphere and actually disappears from view behind the horizon as you go south of the equator. The position of Polaris in the sky actually helped sailors navigate for centuries using a sextant, as at the poles the North Star is directly overhead, and for every degree in latitude you move towards the equator, the degree between the horizon and Polaris reduces. This is impossible on a flat and stationary Earth, as you'd be able to see the North Star at all times, and it can't be flurspective or any crap like that, because that would not explain how observers here and here see the same stars, yet can't see the star here.
Number 9.
Talking about the stars, it's not just the position of them that causes a problem for flurfs, but also their motion. Because there is simply no way that on a flat stationary Earth you could have stars that in the northern hemisphere rotate counterclockwise and in the southern hemisphere rotate clockwise. Because the Earth is rotating, the sky appears to rotate. Viewed from above the North Pole, the Earth is rotating counterclockwise, and for an observer on Earth, objects move from east to west, and this is true for both northern and southern hemispheres. So more accurately put, when looking north, objects in the sky move counterclockwise, and when looking south, they move clockwise. Perfectly explained by us sane people, no explanation on Pancake World.
Number 8.
Let's talk about our nearest star, the Sun, because that's also a major problem for flat earthers.
Vince, apparently they prefer the word retard.
Eh? Oh, how very quaint.
Because throughout the entire day, the angular size of the Sun never changes. Due to the fact that the Sun is 93 million miles away and much bigger than the Earth, the apparent size of the Sun in the sky stays the same all day. This is impossible on a flat Earth that has a small and local sun. If that was the case, then the Sun would grow in size as the day progresses and the Sun gets closer, and then shrink in size as the Sun went off on its cosmic merry-go-round. Thanks to many observations of the Sun with solar filters, we know that the angular size of the Sun stays the same, and it's also the same for the Moon.
Number 7.
Talking about the Sun, sunsets are a problem, because only on a globe that is rotating away from the Sun is this photograph possible. Unless it is Flat Earth's contention that the sun physically drops below the height of that mountain, then there is no way a small and local sun could cast a shadow on the underside of those clouds. Impossible on a flat Earth, no problem for the heliocentric model.
Number 6.
Let's go back to the moon for a second. The moon does a few things that are impossible on a flat Earth. Cause the tides, reflect sunlight, get landed on by humans, but it's the lunar eclipse that is the biggest issue for a flat Earth. In the heliocentric model, as the Earth matches the ecliptic plane of the sun and moon, it blocks out the reflective light from our largest satellite. I wonder what a lunar eclipse would look like on a flat Earth.
Number 5.
Flat Earthers always say, show me the curve, like a demented parrot.
NASA lies. Earth is flat. NASA lies.
So here it is. In Miles Davis photos from Terpen Law in Fife, Scotland, you can see things that are impossible on a flat Earth. Looking towards Edinburgh, we see mountains that are 500 metres above sea level, below an eye level of 210 metres, which both his camera and the tops of these bridge towers are. That would look something like this in an orthographic view. But even better is when Miles turns around 180 degrees and sees this, another reference point of 210 metres, and the mountains in the background that have an elevation above sea level of 1,000 metres that also fall below that eye line.
Number 4.
So we definitely have a curve. But what about rotation? Well, we can measure it. Bob?
If the Earth is spinning at one rotation every 24 hours, that means that every hour it has to turn 15 degrees. And if the gyroscope is mounted anywhere on Earth, it's going to drift. In today's 21st century navigation systems, they're using what's called a ring laser gyroscope. It is extremely precise. If we could simply get one of these ring laser gyroscopes, we would be able to prove once and for all that there is no rotation to the Earth. One of the people in the community actually purchased one for $20,000. But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15 degree per hour drift.
There is no explanation on a flat stationary Earth for why an interferometric fibre optic gyro would pick up a 15 degree per hour drift in 3 axes. It can't be any kind of electromagnetic or electrostatic charge from the heaven energies, as light does not have a charge and is therefore unaffected by such things. Not that there is any such thing as heaven energies.
Number 3.
And if we are rotating, as confirmed by good old Bobby, thanks Bob, then there are certain effects that we should get. For instance, the Coriolis force, an apparent force caused by going from one area on the Earth with an angular velocity to another with less or more angular velocity, and is all about the conservation of momentum. It's literally what causes hurricanes. And in a World War I naval battle between the English and the Germans near the Falkland Islands off Argentina, the English battle cruisers Invincible and Inflexible engaged 2 German warships at a range of nearly 10 miles. The English forgot to reverse the direction of their Coriolis correction. Their tables had been calculated for Northern Hemisphere projectiles, so they missed their targets by even more than if no correction had been applied. They ultimately won the battle against the Germans with about 60 direct hits, but it was not before over 1,000 missile shells had fallen into the ocean. There's also the fact that current military manuals for artillery talk about correcting for the Earth's spin.
Number 2.
And the Coriolis force causes other things, like the drift of a pendulum. As a pendulum swings, the swinging part will be above one area of angular velocity at one end of the swing, and another when at the other end of the swing. Because of the law of conservation of momentum, this will induce a drift into the pendulum swing depending on the latitude. The gentleman physicist used this effect to pretty accurately figure out his latitude on Earth to within 1.5 degrees. No reason that you should be able to do that on a flat, stationary, imaginary world.
Number 1.
Another consequence of the Earth rotating is the Yacht-Voss effect. As the Earth is spinning, that means we have a centrifugal acceleration acting on us. At the equator, where the angular velocity is the highest, it's about 0.03% of the gravitational acceleration, making us weigh about 0.5% more than at the poles. The Ottfoss effect says that if we add to this centrifugal acceleration, then we could decrease our weight even more. In the early 1900s, they tested this on ships in the Pacific, Atlantic and Indian Oceans, and more recently Wolfie 6020 tested it on a plane travelling east to west and a plane travelling west to east, and got results consistent with the predictions of our spinning ball satanic sun-worshipping globe cult. I mean the heliocentric model. So, with so much evidence for the Earth being a globe and rotating, and absolutely none whatsoever for it being flat and stationary, how do people even become flat earthers?
Oh, Nathan, you got this, man. Keep bouncing. Go, Nathan. Go, Nathan. Just like you practiced. It's okay if it drops. It's okay. You just keep going, man. Just keep going. Hey, buddy. Gotta tell you something, man. You ever hear that the Earth is flat? Really? Really? I gotta tell everybody. Yeah, no. The Earth is flat! The Earth is flat! Dude, I was fucking kidding. Come back. Yeah. He doesn't do something stupid.